Next up, we have our Water Performance Award. The water performance category really looks at who utilized water, not just most efficiently, but also creatively in optimizing overall building performance and occupant health. As with all categories this year, we also weighted safety measures instituted and also broader ESG efforts. So first up, we have 801 Towers owned by Barings. Don't worry, you're not having deja vu. They were a finalist in both energy and water this year. So water reduction since ownership for Barings is a high 66%, very impressive. And then water reduction in 2020 is roughly 27%. So I think the big takeaway with this one is a very unique and powerful technology that they're using, and that is a thermal energy storage system, which is saving water and optimizing energy use by way of an underground tank that holds over 700,000 cryogel ice balls that charge. They freeze each night during off-peak hours, and then they discharge and melt during the day, providing chilled water for cooling. It's a really cool technology and saves substantial amounts of not only energy, but water. And then just a little tidbit about their portfolio-wide ESG efforts. They are a signatory to the United Nations Principles for Responsible Investment. They are a member of GRESB. And in addition, they did donate to 34 organizations as a result of COVID, including relief funds for PPE, temporary housing, and then also food banks. So with that, Cassie, what did you take away for this one?
I'm just going to reiterate what you said, I think, and that's that, of course, they have a really impressive water use reduction since ownership. And that the way that they achieved this and achieved this in the last year is through not only switching out fixtures, which they've done all of that, but through the innovative thermal energy storage system, which contributes to achieving both those savings in water and in energy. So it's such a win-win, and why we see the 801 Tower in both of these categories.
Excellent. Thank you, Cassie. Next up, we have the Reserve, owned by Invesco. They have achieved a water reduction since ownership of 22%, and then a water reduction in 2020 of 10%. So this was a former U.S. Post Office facility that they went through a sustainable reuse on. So it's now a 400,000 square foot creative office campus, really cool space, and an exemplary model of this sustainable reuse process and output. So after acquiring the property in 2015, Invesco continued to make operational upgrades, and then they most recently, in this last year, completed a substantial chiller retrofit, replacing a chiller compressor and also installing additional controls to improve system efficiency between both the chiller and the cooling tower. In addition, they did install variable frequency drives and condenser water pumps. In regards to their portfolio-wide ESG efforts, they did create a health and safety checklist, and then publication of the fund's 5th annual sustainability report. In addition to that, they are now targeting a net zero emission across their portfolio by 2050. So Cassie, what were your takeaways on Invesco's project?
Yeah, I loved that they are repurposing the building and making these upgrades. It's really great to see that. We're going to have to see that throughout LA in the years to come in order to reach our energy targets. And so that chiller retrofit was very impressive and a really big project to undertake in this really challenging year.
Excellent. Thanks, Cassie. Last up, we have Brunswick Square, owned by Jamestown. Their water reduction since ownership, 7%, and then water reduction in 2020 is 12%. In regards to specific project-related achievements, they did implement an AquaCore smart building platform in 2020, which helped the property management team analyze real-time data also daily peak demand, and then the consumption data relative to their peers. And so through this data, they were able to adjust their building system schedules to reduce both energy use as well as water use. And so this resulted in approximately 500,000 in annual utility savings. So great achievement there. Portfolio-wide ESG efforts, they are adamantly focused on reducing their environmental impact. The company has set short, medium, and long-term ESG targets in an effort to achieve net zero carbon by 2050, and then a 35% reduction in water by 2050 as well. So Cassie, what did you take away from this one?
Well, I'm a big fan of smart meter systems, and anyone who's familiar with the way water has been metered historically, they're just really critical to achieving reductions like we're seeing with the Brunswick Square. So it sounds like these systems for them have both achieved great water and energy savings. So love the technology.
Excellent. Yep, absolutely agree. Thank you, Cassie. To recap, our finalists for the Water Performance Award were Barings, Invesco, and Jamestown. Cassie, as always, I give you the honor.
The winner is, for water performance, the 801 Tower by Barings. And I believe this is a recording.
Thank you very much. We're very pleased to have received this award and for your acknowledgement. It does take a village to operate a building of this size and complexity. So I have a number of people to thank for the award and being successful in getting it, receiving it. I'd like to start with Neil Perkey, our general manager, and the individual who had the inspiration to apply for the award. His assistant, Kelly Rapasardi, SVP Nicole Audette, Barings Consulting Engineer Richard Spina, and Lord Green Sustainability Charlotte Walker. A number of people involved, people, staff at the property level as well. As I say, it takes a village, and we're appreciative of your acknowledgement. I'm Sandy Troop. I'm the asset manager of this jewel box building known as 801 Tower. Very appreciative of the acknowledgement of our efforts on in this building. Barings isn't new to the ESG space. We have pursued ESG programs for over 10 years now. We've committed significant resources to sustainable investment and management practices, and we believe it really is responsive to our client investment objectives in a holistic manner. During this past year and during the COVID pandemic, occupancy at 801 Tower was much lower than typical, dropping down to less than 10% at times. So we implemented an on-demand HVA system delivery that only ran when tenants needed it. This helped reduce our water consumption. We also focused on exterior landscaping, and and water reduction throughout our common area spaces. So collectively, those efforts were successful this past year. So I want to thank you for acknowledging our collective efforts. We're pleased to have received the recognition, and I will turn it back to Alec at this time. Thank you.
Great. So congratulations to 801 Tower and Barings, and Dave, I will hand it back to you.